Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. What a difference a day makes, right? Yesterday, everyone was complaining about the tightness in the range, how we had the weakest volume since Christmas Eve, and we had that narrow range bar where a lot of technicians were foaming at the mouth saying, okay, narrow range bar, you know what that does? It gives us more points of reference. And more importantly, we had a narrow range bar after a reversal late last week. So all those people who were thinking we were going to break down because of the head and shoulders top that didn't adjust when we reclaimed 2033 and we're rolling up shorts, they had a decision to make once we started getting above that micro descending trend line, and then now we're into more of the macro. So instead of just listening to me talk, let me talk while showing you the charts. So let's go to the chart. Everyone is all worried and everyone's talking about, will this be the time that the market is strong enough to take out the 2-year range? Well, here is where the 2-year range is. Here is where we topped out about a month or so ago. Right here, remember when all those bad earnings came in? Microsoft missed, Google missed. You had, what else missed during that time period? IBM missed. We lost a lot of leadership from tech. So from that period on, we had your little corrective phase. So within that corrective phase, if you look where we came from the double bottom in the beginning of the year, not the end of the world, right? If you use your Fibonacci I, I'm not going to put it on there, about a third. So all we pulled back was about a third of this range from the double bottom low. Remember this nice commitment we saw here when we reclaimed the 21 day and then took out resistance here, kind of similar to this. Remember this double bottom when we took out resistance and went back to the highs? So now the question is, was that the pullback? So if you look at my chart from earlier today, I showed you 2 descending channels, okay, that people would have to make adjustments around. And we could have acted accordingly. I know it happened fast. This was your first spot, right here. This is when we took back the 8 and the 21-day moving average. So if you were short from this spot here and didn't cover when we held the 200-day and reversed back up, this was probably a spot that some people short said, ooh, I better cover this, because the next point of reference comes in right here at this spot here, which is 2084, and then here's the highs. So ultimately, this was a very nice breakout trend or trade above this micro trend line here, which everyone that shorted against it was making money until finally it broke through. So now the question is, what happens tomorrow? Last time this tried it was right here. Okay, and there's definitely some memories. There's definitely some footsteps. Like if you were a quarterback and sacked, I remember this because I took home a lot of longs on this day too. Next day we opened up flat and negated the entire power from May 10th. This was May 10th, this was May 11th, my brother's birthday. We don't get along that well. But anyway, that's what that led to. So now here you are, another wide range bar. So what do we see tomorrow? Do we see a little bit of follow through, which would be different? Do we see maybe going to your 5-minute chart, some support that holds? Like we were up a lot today, so if we were down tomorrow, what you'd probably want to see is one spot hold, maybe this 2072, but this would be very micro. You go more back to here, this would probably be a spot that you definitely wouldn't want to see get tested. Below this, all of a sudden you gave back more than half, and guys like me who are long looking for more follow through probably start bailing. So anyway, at this point, they lulled the market to sleep, but not you guys who had the charts early, who hopefully were in a little bit of longs leading into it, and now we'll see what happens tomorrow. So for those of you that look at my VTF, like, holy cow, Red Dog, you're in like 6, 7 longs. Why are you all of a sudden crazy bullish? I'm like, well, there's a reason for all the longs that I'm in there. So I'm going to go through the longs that I have on the VTF right now, starting from yesterday. Yesterday, I took home JP Morgan. JP Morgan, to me, best in breed financial. Okay, took home a tier 1 as it held this spot, which we talked about in my morning note, and then I added a tier 2 when it broke above resistance, and then I went back to tier 1 long. That's it. Nice bull flag day 1. Okay, this isn't day 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is a consolidation day 1 where you would think you can get a little bit more. I have also Bank of America. Bank of America lagged. Bank of America did not break above this spot yet, so I'm thinking maybe it does. I can handle Bank of America. It's not that big of a deal. You have a bull flag here. If we're down a little bit tomorrow, I'm not going to get crushed, and maybe it outperforms and takes back the 200-day for the first time. So I'm long both these banks. Some guys are in Citigroup, and Citigroup also, wasn't that powerful, but it's not a leader. Okay, it's below the 200-day. So, all these look the same, but best in breed, which is why I was in it overnight in anticipation, was JP Morgan, which acted best. So hopefully it continues. So that's why I'm in JP Morgan and Bank of America. I was in CRM last night. CRM, had its earnings, had a big gap up. Okay, so looked as if it held the earnings gap after 2 days of consolidation, took home some long, added when it took this out, took some off, and now I'm still long about what I had last night. Didn't close great, but all in all, it seems as if it could continue. Look what NVDA did after its strong earnings. And look how much power it had. Obviously, this doesn't have the same thing, but I'm thinking maybe I could be in some of this if the market wants to go up. CRM was best in breed in earnings, and hopefully that continues. So that's why I'm in CRM. And it's also day 2, not day 5, day 6, day 7, which is why I'm not in the video. Then Facebook. Facebook and Amazon have both been the prior leaders that came in during the market corrective phase and turned up today. They're both not extended. They're both coming up off of, I think, support areas. So to me, they were both worth it. All right, Facebook early on kind of tested the gap again right here, okay, and it held. So at this point, why not try and buy it here? If I'm going to think about buying Facebook at some point, if it could get back above 121, why wouldn't I buy it here on the day that the market gets some strength back? So you look closer up at Facebook and you'll see that it did take back yesterday's weakness and closed pretty well above a prior day's high, right above the 8-day. So maybe it heads back towards this. So I'm buying into support versus trying to play a breakout. So that's why I'm in Facebook. I'm in very small Amazon. Amazon has a nice wedge here. Okay, if anything's going to go to the upside, you would think that Amazon, if the market's going to be good, if the market fails tomorrow and we get a May 11th type day, it's going to probably be weak. But if the market's going to continue up, you would think best in breed with the best earnings from last quarter could take this out. So if I'm going to be buying 707.50 tomorrow, if it goes, why not have a little feeler on? So that is those four. I'm in a little bit of the DXJ. Someone threw it out on the chat. I thought it was a decent idea. It's very tight. I'm thinking that maybe, after this big corrective phase, it's wedging. If we get into a risk-on little environment, that perhaps this could break to the upside. So that's why I'm in a little bit of DXJ. Maybe it tries to fill this gap, just something to do. I didn't take Google, but I think some people took Google. And Google, which is trading this big range, it did have poor earnings, but sometimes they give this a pass, as maybe next quarter it'll be better. And at this point, it's clearing this small descending channel here and could continue to the upside. One stock that's been very frustrating that actually looks a lot better that I am long, which is one of my bigger positions, is BABA. BABA has been going sideways and it's taking its sweet time, but today triggered with some volume above 80 and closed pretty well for the first time. So I know it hasn't worked out well and it's been something that is a fake out waiting to happen, but you can't ignore this. Okay, nice wedge, first day out. So I'm thinking, why not see at least 82 plus? It had to gap up good earnings. They tried to sell it down. They couldn't. It got tight, and it went. And if I go to, let's see if I could do this. Insert, study. Let's go if I could get the volume. Here's volume to see if there was volume attached to it. Okay, close. Here you go to take a look to see if there was volume attached, and pretty bigger volume to break out versus the past few sessions. So you want to see some volume, and here you have some volume. So why not take a little bit of both? So those are my reasons for being in 6-7 longs. Okay, because some of them are day one, some of them are trying to break out, some of them are on the move, and others are maybe anticipating with not that much risk, but I want to have my eye on it so I don't miss it. Can we get blasted tomorrow, be down 15 handles and negate all of today? Yes. But this to me is a little bit more risky. This is actually, like I talk about in blackjack in 11 versus 6, you have to hit. This actually to me is like you got, what would you get? Okay, you got sevens. Okay, you got to split sevens, I guess, right? It's 14. And then you get a 4. And then you get a 3 versus 7. You're like, oh my goodness, now I split them. Now I have an 11 here and a 7 and a 3 here versus 7. So let me double down here after splitting. Let me double down here after splitting, because even if they're not great, I might be able to get out of them and he could bust. Well, now I have a lot more chips on the table because I split them and I double down, and now I'm not exactly sure what we get dealt tomorrow if we have an up open or we have something that's not great where I have to get him to bust. So sorry for the analogy. But anyway, hopefully we made some money today. We talked about the red dog reversal last Thursday, where we should close for max pain Friday. We had an inside day yesterday, and then today we ignited and hopefully, we see a little bit of commitment to it and follow through in some names. And if that's the case, there'll be better trading until all of a sudden Friday we have to deal with Yellen and figure out how hawkish she is or not. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.